Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak. I'm your host, Elena Fox Starks. Hey guys, I hope that you are doing well today or tonight, whenever or wherever you guys happen to be when you listen to this recording. I wanted to address a couple of things real quick before we get into it. There was a disaster off the coast of Santa Barbara near the Channel Islands. There was a 3-day dive trip that went horribly wrong. The boat caught fire. It was a 75-foot boat called the Conception that caught fire at 3:30 in the morning while all the people aboard were asleep. And 5 people were rescued by a pleasure craft going by that was called the Great Escape, and they rescued 5 of the crew members. 1 crew member is still missing, and they found 4 bodies on the bottom of the ocean already. The Santa Barbara coroner's office said that they had to call in extra people to identify the bodies using DNA testing, and they're still looking for some of the bodies, and they fear that everyone, except for the 5 that escaped, that they died. So what are we to make of this? I mean, the company had a very good reputation. They had been in business since 1974. Truth Aquatics is the name of the dive operation. The name of the boat was called the Conception, and Rob Lowe, who is a famous actor in the United States, in case you're not listening from the U.S., you're not familiar with his work, he tweeted today on Twitter, according to Variety News, that his heart and prayers are with the families of the victims, because he felt kind of passionate about this. He dives a lot, and he's been on that boat many, many times. He's taken many trips aboard this vessel. So it's crazy when this kind of thing happens. It's just, it boggles the mind. Like the boat was on fire, had so much fuel on board that they couldn't even begin to look for the bodies all day long. It just burned all day long since 3:30 in the morning. And just a few moments ago, as I'm recording this at 12:23 Ecuadorian time, they finally were able to find 25 of the bodies. They were finally able to get onto the boat, or at least find the bodies in the water after the boat collapsed. It sunk. The whole thing sunk, and they were finally able. So when this sort of thing happens, you have to realize on a deeper metaphysical and spiritual level that this is what I call a karma convention. My friend David said this word to me when I was 18 years old, and it's always this phrase anyway. This is stuck with me. Anytime a plane crashes or people are in a building that gets destroyed and they die, or for whatever reason, people are in a hurricane, people are in whatever situation, and, it's not just 1 or 2 people, but like 20, 30, 50, 1,000 people die in a disaster that no one foresaw coming, obviously. There could only be something like a karma convention. These souls came in, together. They knew they were going to die together. Most people die alone. They decided on some soul level that this is how they're going to go out. You know, in the middle of a trip doing something they loved. It's horrific, absolutely horrific to die in a fire. I can't speak to what their past lives were. I don't know these people. No one knows. None of the names have been released. The first 4 victims were 2 men and 2 women, all adults. That was all they could say. I don't even know. I mean, I might possibly know people that were on this boat. I lived in Santa Barbara a long time, and I have people there, so I'm a little worried. I've got some friends that might have gone diving. I don't know. Hopefully, I don't know. Just it doesn't matter if it's people I know or not. It's just, no matter what, it's sad. I mean, my heart and my prayers, my condolences go out to the families of the victims of this. I mean, this is Labor Day weekend, guys. You know, happy Labor Day. Today's Labor Day, literally. You know, in what that means, if you're not from the United States, Labor Day means it's a one day a year that if you have a job, you get to take off. You have the day off. You've got a 3-day weekend, and it's kind of a thank you that the government gives to all the people that work and pay their taxes, and employers. It's kind of an appreciation day from employers to be like, hey, have a good weekend, guys. I'll see you in 3 days versus, 2. It's a holiday. It's a national holiday. So people were out doing what they love instead of working their jobs, and I don't know. I don't know what to make of it other than it is a karma convention. And so we have to understand that God has all of us, those people, as well as every single one of us, in the palm of his hands. And all of the things that happen on some level, on higher levels, things are meant to be, meant to happen the way they do. Whether they're going to discover the coroner's office of Santa Barbara, they have to deal with this. Bill Brown, he's a sheriff as well as a coroner, so he's kind of got 2 jobs to do during this tragedy, and he says he has to determine the cause of the fire and figure out the DNA of all the victims. It's crazy. But I don't envy him at all. He looked pretty upset when he was talking to the press today, according to CBSnews.com. I went there and looked at the details of this tragedy, and I don't know, guys. I feel like if you're so inclined to send love and light to the families and the citizens of Santa Barbara, but karma conventions happen. I don't know why. I wonder, like when you die, you walk down a tunnel alone, and then you're greeted on the other side by people waiting for you. And if you've had a lot of animals or pets, they're waiting in front of all the people. I once asked a Catholic priest if animals go to heaven when they die, and my mother called him to ask him, and he told her that animals have no souls, and so we won't be with them or see them in heaven. Kind of explains a lot of the animal cruelty that goes on in the world when people have that kind of an attitude. It's wrong. I knew that the Catholic Church was full of crap at the age of, 3 or 4. When I heard that, I knew that was a lie. I kind of remember at that time actually asking God, and God told me, of course, animals would be in heaven. That's silly to think otherwise. Of course they have souls. They have, but when I talked to Grandma Marion about it, she said that they have group souls, over souls, that kind of controls a group of them until they get higher up in, so like birds, for example, have like an oversoul, parrot, the parrot oversoul, or the, and then the cats might have an oversoul and dogs might have an oversoul, but then you get to have dog and cat masters, and they grow in their spirituality when they get to when they're pets and their humans love them, and they learn more and more and more, you know. I wonder why, sometimes wild animals befriend us. Maybe they're kind of growing a little bit faster than the rate of their oversoul. But anyway, I wonder when people like this, when they die in a big group, do they get to walk down the hallway together, the tunnel together? Or if it's individual, I don't know. But, when they get to the other side, what happens is they get greeted by all of their pets, animal friends that they've had in this life and others, past lives. And they get to see everybody, and they get to be welcomed and loved. And if they need to, they get cocooned for a while. They go into a kind of a homeostasis, and people surround them and give them love and light and energy. And when they're ready to wake up and be okay and rejoin the society that is in the other side, or heaven, whatever you want to call it, then they get to do that. And then they can go on and learn their lessons and study and do whatever it is that they do. Play music, sing, dance, hang out with their friends, whatever they want to do. We never stop learning and growing and improving, whether here or there. But when people die, they don't actually die. They just leave their body, and then they go on to the next world. And anyway, this is very sad. It made me sad, but when you can see the greater picture and what's actually happening, they're okay. Their souls are okay. They're probably in a state of shock. They're probably going, crap, I can't believe that happened. What a bummer. I didn't get to dive the whole weekend. They're probably not as sad as the rest of the world looking, from the outside in to what happened to them. And I don't know. I just want to talk about the karma convention idea that, it's probably a group of friends, old souls. It might have been a soul group of people who just decided, we ushered in the beginning part of the ascension, and now we're leaving early. I told you guys a lot of people are going to die before we're fully anchored into the fifth dimension. My higher guidance told me it's going to be close to a third of the planet, and a third's probably going to stay with the third and fourth dimension, and the rest of us are going to be in the fifth dimension. I don't know. I don't know if that's true anymore. Things do change. Everything is fluid, Everything is a choice, conscious or unconscious, or chosen before we get here even. It's all pretty crazy, though. I don't know. I was looking into also the Amazon rainforest situation. Since from January to August, there was 72,000 fires that were started in Brazil. 4,000 of these fires started across Brazil 48 hours after the burn ban was issued out by the government. They said, we need to stop this. This is like how to control. And they went ahead and there was like a 60-day prohibition on setting trees on fire, and almost 4,000 blazes started anyway. And people just don't care. They don't realize that what they're doing to literally the lungs of the earth. But there is some scientists have come forward to say, look, it's not all of our oxygen does not come from the Amazon rainforest. So we're not all going to die now because of this happening. That rather, there is some coral that's still alive, and coral provides a great deal of oxygen for our world. But there's some problems in that not only is it a way to get oxygen for the planet by which all animals and humans breathe, but also the Amazon rainforest absorbs carbon that's in the atmosphere, which is related to global warming. And now that those trees aren't there to absorb the carbon in the atmosphere, global warming is coming about that much faster, which means the glaciers will be melting faster, and more fires in places where there are not supposed to be fires will probably occur. We can expect hotter temperatures around the planet, and then eventually a mini ice age, if not a full-blown ice age eventually. Hopefully not in our lifetimes, but we don't know. This is the first time in the history of humanity that we've been in this position, that our technology has just pretty much screwed the pooch. You know, on a planetary wide level. Really, really, really crazy. I don't know. I'm recording this in my living room, as you can tell by the echo and the lack of traffic outside. And last night when I was watching my Google Chromecast, I finished the show, and what appeared on the screen, I couldn't believe it. It was a white lotus flower. I get finished talking about the crown chakra, and here it is, the symbol of the crown chakra, the white lotus flower. That was like the final image right when I was uploading the show. So I don't know. I mean, I'm getting signs and symbols from all over the place that, you know, everything is in perfect and divine order. Everything is as planned according to heaven. In spite of how tragic or sad or bleak things look, it seems to me that we're still going to be okay. Like, you know, everything's going to move on and go on the way it's supposed to. It is what it is, you know? On disclosurenews.it in Italy, they had some activity today, actually, with in regards to the Schumann resonance. The 11:30 a.m. UTC report says the variations continue practically without interruption, even if with moderate values. At 7 UTC time, a more significant activity began, which led to a peak at 69 Hertz at 8 UTC, followed by another at 40 Hertz about an hour later. This period of elevated activity lasted 2 hours. Then the evening report at 1700 says the situation after the previous peaks is in a phase of calm. It's pretty much how it happens over there. Have you guys noticed? It's always 1 or 2 peaks and then just calm after that. Now, yesterday, as I was telling you how one of the symptoms of the magnetosphere being down in a big, huge section, and by the way, the magnetosphere is usually what blocks cosmic radiation from hitting us, including solar winds and coronal mass ejections from the sun. And, you know, with a giant gaping hole where the magnetosphere is practically non-existent in a huge chunk of the planet, it's not stopping anything, and now we're getting a lot of cosmic radiation. I don't know. I don't think it's a bad thing entirely. I don't think you should be outside for long hours or stretches. It's not the day to lay at the beach. It's not the week or the year to lay at the beach all day. It's not a time to work on your tan for sure, because you're getting a lot more radiation than normal. I don't know about you guys, but when I woke up this morning, actually this afternoon, I went to bed very, very early in the morning. 7 in the morning is by the time I finally got to bed. I was up. I couldn't sleep. I barely felt tired, and I had insomnia all night. I went to bed at 7, and I woke up about, 1 or 2 in the afternoon. But early in the morning, about 9, I guess, I woke up because the sun was coming in. And I felt such a peace and a calm in my being. And I felt the radiation, I felt it in me. But it felt right, like everything is okay. No matter what happens, everything's going to be okay. Egg bach, baby. Everything's going to be fine. We're okay. We knew it when we came here. We were going to go through some pretty hard changes. Some pretty crazy things were going to happen. And they certainly have. But life goes on. If nothing else, gives us crazy stories to talk about later. But yesterday I was talking about the magnetosphere knocking out websites and the internet. And while I'm talking about this, my internet stopped for a moment and my TV kind of flickered a few times. And then the magnetosphere or magnetometer, Schumann resonances power chart on heartmath.org suddenly wasn't working anymore. I mean, it was just right when I was just saying that. It's like, man, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. But I felt this morning at 7 in the morning when I saw the sun coming up, it was a beautiful orange color sky. And then it was like a golden white mix. And later on, it just felt radiationally good. I don't know how to explain it other than there was a positivity and a hope in the new waves of energy coming our way. I hope that no matter whenever and wherever you are when you're listening to this, that you do feel that hope and you do feel that there's a sense of everything's going to be all right and we are moving on. And we are moving forward and we are moving onward and upward, up in vibration. We're in the 5th dimension. We're well on our way to our goal. At the same time, we're turning back and we're looking at the 3rd dimension where we're separating from now like a rocket booster. And we're just sending love and light. And we're hoping that the earth is going to be okay in that dimension. The spirit of the earth is with us in the 5th dimension, though. From what I understand, I don't know, guys. So it's a lot of mixed feelings today. Today's like a day of mixed feelings, Labor Day. So happy Labor Day to those of you in the U.S. who got to take the day off. I mean, that's pretty cool. I hope you had some fun times picnicking with your families. I hope that wherever you are, you're doing well on this holiday. Wanted to thank those of you in Sweden and Pakistan who have been listening to me because I made the charts on iTunes in the past week, and that was pretty cool. There's been a lot of downloads off of iTunes, and I'm happy about that. Thank you guys so much. Welcome. I hope everything is going good in those places, in those parts of the world. That is pretty cool. Somebody from, I don't know what country it was, but somebody from, I don't even know, honestly, Netherlands or this. Anyway, someone added me on YouTube, and I was holding onto my phone somehow, and I ended up on her channel. And it was all of a sudden the music from Pippi Longstocking started playing I want to say it was in Polish or Dutch, but I truly, honestly don't even know what language it was. But it didn't matter because the energy of Pippi Longstocking is so sweet no matter what the language. And it made me happy. It brought me some joy today to hear it. I was like, yeah. And it was so neat to hear it in another language and to feel that energy just still radiates out from that story, which is such a beloved childhood story. If you've never heard of Pippi Longstocking, it's something that you might want to look into. It's weird. It's a really weird story. And there's some really screwed up parts. I let my kids watch this and they were like, what kind of a screwed up story is this? That, her mom is dead or dad leaves her alone for long stretches and she just doesn't go to school, does whatever the hell she wants. I'm like, for me, that's like a perfect life, but and she's super strong. She can lift whole cows or horses over her head. And her best friend's a monkey, and plus she's a redhead. So yeah, Pippi, she's one of my childhood heroes. Anyway, it was like a weird, like, what, Pippi? So it made me happy. Anyway, I'm going to tell you guys the Schumann resonance from our 6 cities that we usually go over, and yesterday wasn't available. We're going to go over that right now. In California, the Schumann resonance is 147, or it was at midnight, and it went by 4 a.m. It went up to 149. In Hofuf, Saudi Arabia, the Schumann resonance was at 89 hertz frequency at midnight, and it went up to only 90 by 4 a.m. In Lithuania, the Schumann resonance was 202 hertz frequency at midnight, and it went up to 211 hertz frequency at 4 a.m. So they must be having some pretty heavy-duty ascension symptoms over there, but not as much as they probably are in Alberta, Canada, who started off at 248 at midnight and went down only 3 points to 245 at 4 a.m. this morning. So in Northland, New Zealand, 64 hertz frequency at midnight, which went up to 66 at 4 a.m. And Hululu, South Africa, I don't know what's wrong with this, but it's just been flatline. It's still 0 all the way across. It's all pretty crazy. I don't know why that's going on. In A Course in Miracles, lesson 85 today, acim.org, or you could download an app if you want to pursue your studies in this. I highly recommend it. I'm not reading the whole of the lessons, just part. Today's review covers 2 ideas, like always, because it's review. So the first one is the idea from lesson 69. My grievances hide the light of the world in me. My grievances hide the light of the world in me. Let me not use this as a block to sight. The light of the world will shine all this away. I have no need for this. I want to see. Those are applications you can use with these forms, it says. The lesson's talking about how we must lay all of our grievances aside in order to see the light, because it keeps us in the darkness. It hides the light. And again, that idea is, my grievances hide the light of the world in me. The second idea for today is, my salvation comes from me. My salvation comes from me. And the forms of the idea are suitable for these applications. Let this not tempt me to look away from me for my salvation. Let me read that again. Sorry. Let this not tempt me to look away from me for my salvation. I will not let this interfere with my awareness of the source of my salvation. This has no power to remove salvation from me. So anytime anyone bothers you or irritates you or cuts you off in traffic or heads you off at the pass at work or stabs you in the back or whatever, goes behind your back at, your family, whatever, you could say, this has no power to remove salvation from me. Know why? My salvation comes from me. Your salvation comes from you. All right, that is the ideas that we have for the day. Now, this is going to be a really strange one. I haven't done a channeling like this in a while. I've been channeling ascended masters and people who are deceased, and usually a lot of ETs or off-worlders, our space brothers and sisters, and today God asked me to please channel the Deva, the overlighting soul or the spirit of the entire Amazon rainforest. So we're going to hear her perspective on what's going on with all the fires and what's happening in all of her region. Usually each individual plant has a nature spirit, and then every section has an overlighting Deva. But we're going to talk to the Deva that is in charge of the whole region, who's in charge of all of the individual Devas, which just means spirit. I think it's a Sanskrit word for spirit. This is kind of like saying the guardian angel of the region. Like animals and plants have nature spirits or fairies that are in charge of them, and humans have guardian angels. Guardian angels are like our fairies, our fairy godmothers. Could be another way of looking at angels. So we all have spirits looking out for us, no matter who we are, whether we're a human or a blade of grass or a flower or a forest. We all have spirits. It's the unseen, invisible world that takes care of us, that we don't even know. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to hear from the overlighting Deva of the Amazon rainforest right after this. If you're listening to this, you obviously like podcasts, and you probably like music too. Long walks on the beach, romantic dancing under the stars, and oh wait, we're not doing that right now. On Spotify, you can listen to all of that in one place for free, and you don't even need a premium account, which is cool. Free is always good. Spotify has a huge catalog of podcasts on every topic, including the one you're listening to right now. On Spotify, you can follow your favorite podcasts so you never miss an episode. Download episodes to listen to offline wherever you are, including your long romantic walks on the beach. Also, one thing I love about Spotify is that you can easily share what you're listening to with your friends via Spotify's integrations with the social platforms like Instagram. So that makes it really, really versatile. Just search for Metaphysical Soul Speak on the Spotify app or browse podcasts in the Your Library tab. And follow me, of course, don't forget, so that you'll never again miss an episode of Metaphysical Soul Speak. Spotify is the world's leading music streaming service, and now it can be your go-to for podcasts too. Thank you guys so much for supporting Metaphysical Soul Speak on Spotify. Do you ever wish you could look into the next chapter in your book of life and see what's coming next? What does the universe have in store for you? I can help you with that. I will give you a Celtic cross reading, which is 10 cards, or you can ask me 3 questions, and I use 3 cards per question. So that's 9 cards, or I can channel your higher guidance, or maybe God directly for you. Maybe you want to talk to your dear departed Aunt Edna, because maybe you have a few questions and she was the smartest person you knew. If your deceased relatives are available or your ascended masters, I can channel them for you personally. Let me have 1 hour to show you the future in your next chapter of your book of life. Readings are $75, and it takes me an hour to an hour and a half to complete. And for this price, you will also be hooked up to the healing grid around the planet for free, which means yours truly, me, I will be giving you Reiki 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for the rest of your life. All you have to do is let me know. metaphysicalsoulspeak@gmail.com, and we will explore your future together. All right, guys, I am here connected to the overlighting Deva of the Amazon rainforest. She has a female energy, and she wanted to address humankind tonight about what is happening in the rainforest, or jungle, as it is called. I am an indirect telepathic channel. I am not like the direct channels that allow beings or spirits to take over their body and use their voice box where their voice and mannerisms change. I only use my ability and my God-given psychic abilities, gifts of telepathy. You have them too. You have to develop them to do what I do, but everybody has this ability. It's not just me. I'm not any more special than anybody else, because this is something that everybody can do. It's just like a muscle. You have to learn how to flex it, and then you can work with it. But anyway, I am using telepathy and also muscle testing, kinesiology, because sometimes I will get a message or hear something that I don't quite think that's what I heard. Sometimes I think maybe I'm making it up, and I'll ask a question and I will ask for clarification. And in that case, I will stop for a moment saying what the channel or what the spirit is saying to me, and I will ask a question. But I believe that she does not want to be asked questions today. Is this correct? Okay, yes, I got muscle testing says yes. She has a message for humanity. And if I feel like there's if I discover it's necessary to ask a question, I'll go ahead and obviously ask it. So without further ado, again, more relaxed so that I can hear her voice more clear. Okay, I am connected to the overlighting Deva of the Amazon rainforest, or the jungle in South America. Is this correct? Muscle testing says yes. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak, the podcast. Deva, thank you. You may begin your transmission of your message now. Thank you to you, all of you in humanity that would hear my voice and message today through this channel. I am very grateful that you all care so much. I have felt your prayers. I have felt your thoughts. I have felt your energy healing that has been sent to me, or healing energy that has been sent to me. I feel equally the same amount of love and affection for all of you as you do for me and my beloved jungle. It is truly a tragedy what is happening here. We should not mistake this for a natural disaster, for this is not at all natural. This is caused by men. I do not hold in my heart animosity or anger towards men in general. I am just very deeply saddened by the men that decided that this was okay to burn my lovely trees down and hurt the creatures of my territory for their own gain, their own financial gain. I do not really wish, though, to speak upon the evils of men. There will always be evil men in the third dimensional world, because there always has been. But just as equally so in the third dimensional world, there are also good men. There are men that would pray for this to cease, and men that pray for rain, and men that stop it physically. So it's not really up to me to cast my judgments towards any other creature, including men. It is my duty to oversee the souls of all of the plants and the animals, and to work in conjunction with all of the nature spirits of the land, the rocks, the fish in the Amazon River, all of the creatures, everything you see, including the insects, and I even work with the sylphs, the air spirits, and yes, even with the fire spirits. Right now, it feels to the kingdoms of the nature spirits that the fire spirits have taken control. It feels like an invading army upon us. When I connect to all of the individual spirits, that is the general feeling. They feel that we are being invaded. That is their sentiment. And they're very, very sad. There are a lot of lives that are lost right now. And for that, I am very sad. Many of my children that I work with are very sad, and many more have lost their lives. When a plant dies, the plant spirit that took care of that plant dies as well. So there has been a greater loss of life than maybe perhaps you were aware of. We have a tendency to be ignored and overlooked because you cannot look upon us directly. We are the invisible forces behind that which nature provides to your sight. We are the unseen hands that help everything run smoothly and grow accordingly to the plan or the divine blueprint that God has set forth for this part of the earth. there is a heaviness, a sadness, and a woe that has been permeating the entire region of the Amazon basin. Even in the parts that the fires have not reached, there has been fear evoked and emotions that aren't normally seen or felt in the Amazon rainforest. Usually, my beautiful kingdom is permeating everything with a sense of joy and love, laughter, and purpose. There is a peace that generally radiates from my lands. If you ever come to the Amazon, you would understand that this peace goes beyond your understanding. When you're here, you do not understand how you ever lived before without such depth, such penetration of this profound peace. And when you leave, you go back to your fearful world again, and you wonder why you were not more fearful in my lands. It is because it has always been my job and my duty to provide this peace and this sense of worthiness and lovingness. I have provided this to all of the spirits of my kingdom, who have provided it through the plants and the minerals and the animals. Everything is alive and happy in my kingdom, and always has been until now. This is the first time that your fear from your worlds, the worlds from without mine, have penetrated with their fear, their sadness, their angst, their sorrow, and their animosity. It saddens my heart greatly to feel the energy coming from the humans that believe nature is against them, or somehow the world is man versus nature. Because the kingdom that I tried to provide for your world is one that would show you that harmony is not only plausible, it's probable when you have the right attitude, when you have the right emotions, when you are filled with such a sense of peace, joy, love, and harmony. Anything and everything is possible. There are, of course, and always have been, minor tragedies in all the kingdoms. In my kingdom, sometimes people have been attacked by anaconda or crocodiles or various animals, but usually this is because the humans chose to live outside of the energy of harmony. They chose to live outside of balance. They walked with fear in their hearts and anger in their steps. Now I fear that a grand portion of my kingdom has been lost to these kinds of feelings, these horrible, penetrating feelings of fear, anger, and feelings of unworthiness. For what human would do this except those that do not feel that they are good enough in this world, and they feel that they must conquer that which they do not understand. For a time I felt anger. For a greater period of time, I have just felt sorrow. But not only for my lost spirits, but also for the lost souls that caused all of this tragedy and senseless violence in my kingdom for naught. What they have done is a grievous and heinous mistake, not only against my world, but also against your entire planet. I have worked with Mother Earth Gaia to try to correct this mistake. Many of you prayed for rain, and the rains have come, but the fires grow too hot and too big to be put out at this time. We do not know what the future holds. We can only see what is happening now. And I could do nothing but sit and watch as my children perish. I have a deep sorrow, and it is hard for me to achieve my balance in energy when this is happening. I ask for your prayers for me to achieve harmony and balance once again. And please pray for comfort to be brought to the animal families, because animals do feel emotion, and they do have familial structures, and they do know what is happening. Only men that have no clue about these things would perpetuate such horrors upon us all. It has been said that the Amazon rainforest is the lungs of the planet, and that because my kingdom exists, it reduces the carbon footprint that the rest of the world is putting out there. The rest of humanity is putting out there with cars and industrial pollution and factories. Don't think for 1 second that I am not aware of these things. Many people erroneously believe that Mother Nature does not understand the paths of men. But what you forget is you too are a part of nature. And as a part of nature, it is man's responsibility as well. I do not wish to place blame in a way that would perpetuate more anger, because that perpetuates more violence. That perpetuates more sorrow, more sadness, grief, and depression. I only will say that we are working as hard as we can with what we have as nature spirits. We're trying to push back the fires. It has not been working very well. We ask that you pray for more rain. Maybe pray for the hearts and minds of these closed-minded. Okay, I'm hearing the word muffin heads. Is that what you're saying? Muffin heads? You're saying something that sounds like that. These closed-minded muddle heads? Okay. Closed-minded muddle heads are doing this to us. Please send them maybe the energy of stopping. Maybe send them the ideas that what they're doing is ruining the whole planet, and that they don't, that all of everybody on earth does not deserve the violence that they're perpetuating, because it's not just against a few blades of grass or a couple animals or a few trees. They're ruining the whole planet. They're taking away oxygen. and perpetuating more carbon in the air. And when the Amazon rainforest cannot absorb more carbon in the air, the greenhouse gases are going to get worse. Everything is a part of everything else. Do you not see this? Do you not see this? I want to shout at them, but they are blind. They are deaf to the truth. They do not feel. These are men with hardened hearts. They do not know what they are doing, for they are ignorant. I don't know what else to do other than ask your help in praying for rain. Help us. Collectively think, use your minds to bring more and more rain to us. Fight them with the power of your minds. Pray that their minds get changed or opened so that they can understand the evil that they are perpetuating against everybody out of their greed, their greedy natures. These men are evil, but what's worse is they have chosen these acts. They have chosen to be evil. This is beyond the comprehension and understanding of the nature spirits with which I work. As a Deva, I am in charge of the most beautiful, loving light beings. Oh, if you could only see what I see when I look upon them, how wonderful and brilliant and bright their colors, their beautiful rainbow colors of light. Their hearts are so light, so beautiful, so perpetually joyous. And it is all being snuffed out by these horrible fires, these wretched fires. I am coming through this channel to plead with you to please send rain, send love, send the energy of hope and light, send the energy of joy. Keep it and hold it in your hearts, because it's all we've got. Send everything you've got, spiritual energy. And please pray that heaven on earth comes faster than we ever thought possible. We need it. We need it now. I, with all of my spirits, are raising up into the fifth dimension, as are you, as has Gaia. We are all up in the fifth dimension. We are raising up with you. Or at least our equivalent of the fifth dimension. Many of my spirits were always in the two dimensions, so technically we're raising up into the fourth dimension, or the lower part of your fifth dimension, if this makes any sense to you. But we are your support. We wish to stay and remain here being your support. And the only way this is going to happen is if the fires are put out, the men leave. Maybe perhaps the ones who started illegal fires will be jailed. But I don't know, and that's not up for me to decide. I want to share with you the joy and the natural beauty of my world. And all I can do right now is to express and convey my heart to you in words, so that you can understand the specialness, the love and the joy that exists within my kingdom, in spite of what is currently occurring in my world. In the heart of the jungle where the men do not live, where the men do not dwell, I wish to take you on a journey now. We'll start on the jungle floor. Bits and pieces of fruit has fallen to the jungle floor and coats the earth. There is a slick black moss and molds and grimy and slimy things that perhaps mean nothing to you. In fact, you might find it a little disgusting. But what you don't see is the enzymes and the insects and all the harmony of nature that works together to provide a rich fabric of mulch that covers the jungle floor. And it provides shelter for even more insects. The ants move along. The carver ants cut their little leaves and they carry it to their nest where they formulate shelters for their queen. They have their own little kingdom within my own. Sometimes when you're walking along the jungle, you will notice that there are nests that have been built with the debris that have fallen from the trees. The nests are built by ground birds. We call them the groundlings. They do not like to live up in the trees like some birds do. They like to live on the ground, for that is where they feel safe. This is also because they're close to their food supply. They eat the bugs that crawl along the ground. Every insect has its own function in my kingdom. Some are there to eat the molds and the funguses and the things that you might find disgusting, and they excrete out pure soil. Some of the insects take that soil and distribute it to other parts of the jungle so that there's a balance and equilibrium that can be achieved in my world. You will find everything from tarantulas to cockroaches to flies, things that hop, things that fly, things that walk, things that undulate, and things that crawl. I believe your words for most of these are creepy crawlies. Some of the insects exist only to delight and entertain the animals of the forest, such as the butterflies. They're so beautiful and they're so light, and they give the message to all the other animals that life is delicate, just as the wings of a butterfly are so delicate, and the energy of transformation and freedom, changing from one form to another. It gives a message like a herald that would let all of the animals know that they're not always going to be animals. Someday they will be something more. They will not always live in this forest or dwell on the forest floor. Someday they will go back to heaven from whence we all came. The butterflies carry a message of spirituality to the far reaches of the Amazon jungle. We have monkeys of all kinds. They howl so loud and they chirp like little birds, and they live in their families in harmony until there's no harmony. Sometimes there are fights, and after a while they go back to harmony once more. Monkeys are social and they love each other very much. And they are an integral and important part. They live in the tops of the trees mostly, and they drop fruit to the bottom of the forest, of my rainforest. And the animals that dwell in the bottom rely on the monkeys, so they eat the bits and pieces of fruit, and they carry the seeds to the far reaches of the rainforest to achieve equilibrium, so that everything grows in equal parts of the Amazon. There are bears that roam through, and they just keep going, and they eat avocados, they eat different fruits, they eat mangoes. We have birds like the rest of the world has never seen. Every color of the rainbow: blue, red, yellow, green, black, white, sometimes all those colors on one bird. They have funny sounds and funny calls, and they fly throughout all of my kingdom. They bring rainbows of colors everywhere you look. And they're social and they chatter. Sometimes they fight and squawk, and then they achieve equilibrium once more. Many times I think that my kingdom is in charge of bringing equilibrium to the whole world, and to show the whole world how equilibrium can be achieved. Because there's a balance and a harmony of nature here. I cannot speak for other kingdoms. I believe it must be so in other kingdoms. I have heard of the deserts and the mountains in different regions, and I can't even imagine what it's like to live under the surface of the oceans. But I know that in my kingdom there is a beauty and a harmony that, until we've been encroached upon recently by these fires, we have had for millennium. Many of my animals have learned and grown. They're learning new skills, and they have been making evolutionary leaps of late, just as humans are making evolutionary leaps. Monkeys have learned things that they never learned before. They are growing more intelligent. All the birds are growing more intelligent. Did you know that they have a complex system of language? That's right. All the animals have ways of communicating. Even if it's not obvious to humans, it still nonetheless exists. My world is everything I have, just like your world is everything you have, until we all meet again on the other side, where we are no longer residing in the third dimensional or fourth dimensional or fifth dimensional worlds. We have beautiful skies that are so glorious. They equal in rival only the colors of my flowers in my world and the beautiful wings of the birds. The insects create a humming vibration, and in my kingdom you will find insects that hum and chatter and rub their legs or their wings in ways that create vibration that will put you immediately at ease and peace. It will connect to all of your spiritual centers. Your chakra wheels will all be put into a spinning motion with the sounds of my jungle. This is what happens when people enter the forest, and an achievement of bliss comes about through the interactive play between your subtle energy bodies and the sounds that the insects make. Did you know that that was one of the big reasons God created insects in this world? Is for their harmony and their vibration, the energy and the frequency at which they create sound, and through sound, harmony and balance is achieved. when all of your chakras are spinning at the same rate, after you've been in the jungle for a while, you can thank all the insects that created this and made it so. At night, different creatures come out. Little tiny voles, I think is what are you saying, voles or moles? Moles and voles. The little tiny like rodent-like creatures. And they will sometimes eat the seeds or the peelings of the fruit that was dropped from the monkeys. And the bats come out, and the bats use their sonar, and as they use their sonar, this creates an even more high-pitched frequency to keep the vibration up at night. Even the caimans come to the surface of the Amazon River water to listen to the sound and frequency of the bats at times. It appeals to even the reptilian mind, these high frequency vibrations. When you live in the Amazon rainforest and you live in harmony with nature, outside of the industrial machines and gasoline and petroleum and plastics and all the things that have been brought into the environment from a man-made society, when you get away from all of that in the heart of my kingdom, you can achieve perfect balance of not only mental peace and harmonious feelings in your spirit, but also you achieve a perfect health. If my kingdom had been left alone for the past 300 years, all the people living therein would have been perfectly healthy. And they would have lived to be more than 100 years old, maybe 130 or more. But because the balance has been tipped, this doesn't happen the way that it used to. This was a perfect world within a world. But like everything that progresses and changes, that's the growing pains that the Amazon is going through. We don't know how we're going to fare on the other end of it. We don't understand where all of this is going to lead us. We must proceed with faith and trust and still achieve our harmony and our balance to the best of our ability every day. For that is our job, creating this energy in the world that you find yourselves living in. We ask that you please join us in trying to create peace and balance in your own life wherever you live on the planet. Every day strive for balance, strive for peace, work for joy. Look for the unseen among the seen. Feel the energetic, invisible forces around you in the nature in which you find yourselves in. Even if it's a park inside of a city. Yes, I know about cities. Devas talk. I have spoken to the Deva of Central Park in New York. She is always filled with so many duties to try to achieve balance and harmony where she lives. And she has told me some crazy stories. And I've spoken to Devas of islands that are long forgotten. And not much is going on there, and balance and harmony has been achieved, and it is an equilibrium for which I strive. We here in nature ask that you appeal to the natural part of you that is pure love and pure harmony and pure peace. To drop the shadow side, heal it, and bring more peace and harmony in your world every day. We ask that you strive for what we strive for, so that we all can be together and raise up in our vibrations to anchor into the next highest dimension for us. For me as Deva, it's going to be slightly different than you as a human, but we all are one. Even if we are all of different species and different vibratory rates and different types of spirits, we all come from the one will, the prime creator. All of you who have sent me love, I send you love back in equal amounts, if not more. All of you who do not believe that I exist, I do, and I'm here. And I still love you because I was created from pure love, and I have never veered from my path to vibrate at a pure love level. But please note that there is intelligence in nature. We understand what is happening, and we understand who and what and why this is all happening. We wish to get back to where we were, but it's too late for that. We can only move forward with our energy of hope. Do not allow our light of hope to go out. Do not allow the light of the fires to put our light of hope out. Please send rain. Pray for rain. Take 5 minutes of your day every day. Ask Prime Creator to allow it to rain here. Ask for the rain spirits to come. Ask and imagine and visualize the rain coming down hard. We will deal with any erosion or anything that the rain creates. We ask this, that you please send the rain now. We need it. If we are to do our jobs and continue on in the energetic vibration with which we have been working for millennia, we need this now. Please, we are asking and appealing, send rain. 5 minutes a day, imagine the rain is happening. If all of you do that, we will be saved. I wish to go now, for I have to go back and attend to all of the spirits. Many have been passing to the other side, and I have to oversee the mass exodus process as well as taking care of and protecting those that are still living in other regions of my kingdom. I wish to thank you for your patience in listening to my message. I wish to live in harmony and vibration with you. You may commune with me, whether it is in person, if you come to visit the Amazon and the places that are not in danger, or if you wish to just commune with me via mental telepathy in your meditation hour. You may use creative visualization or meditation or just mindfulness to think about it. But when you please, I must ask, when you think of the Amazon rainforest, think of us as thriving. Don't visualize what's happening negatively. Visualize us green leaves, beautiful plants, trees, flowers of every color of the rainbow and our birds singing their happy songs, and the monkeys chattering with laughter and mocking all the other animals and laughing. Imagine all of nature in harmony and happy. When you imagine my kingdom, imagine it in the highest possible light, the happiest possible space it can be. Hold space, hold grace for us. We need the power of your minds right now to once again achieve harmony, tranquility, and serenity. We wish to achieve this now. So I'm thanking you in advance for this. Sending you my love and my peace and the energy of my joy. For yes, I still hold joy. This is what I choose, my path. I choose to hold the energy and vibration of love and joy, for that is what I was made from. I urge you to do this inside of yourself as well. Get to the true core of your spirits. Know who you are. Feel who you are. Achieve everything that the Prime Creator wished for you to achieve on this planet. Joy, peace, love, harmony, happiness. I wish all these things for you. And when I think of humans that wish to help, this is what I see in your souls. This is how I think of you. Because we are all one and the same, because we're created from good. You are good. I am good. All the spirits in my kingdom are good. I urge you to focus on the good. And now I am finished with this transmission. Peace. Peace be upon you, always. I am the Deva of the Amazon rainforest. All right, guys. That was a pretty powerful message. I was muscle testing the whole time, making sure she was plucking some phrases and things that I've said in the past week. She plucked that out of my subconscious mind. That's how a lot of times telepathy works. But as muscle testing, I kept making sure that that's exactly what she meant to say, the message that she wished to convey. All right, well, there you have it. I don't really have much more to add to that. I hope that tomorrow is a bright and joyous day and that you are able to connect to your ever-increasing self, whereas you increase in harmony and higher vibrations and the energy of love and joy, and you get back to your true heart. Remember that your center of gravity is your high heart now. Focus on that and your 8th chakra and your crown chakra. Focus on all the positive vibes that us as light workers are putting out. You also are a light worker. You might not know it. Just focus on the little things, the flowers, the clouds. A friend of mine had a little bee land on his finger the other day, and it touched his heart so much that he took a picture of it. And all the comments were hilarious. His friends were saying, wait a minute, you usually swat away insects. You don't like insects. What's wrong? What's happening? It's confusing me. And he said, but she asked me with such beauty, and she asked permission with such beauty that I couldn't refuse her. This is from somebody who was not aware before, but he's aware now. See, everybody, no matter who they are, everyone is waking up. The more you awake, you take thousands with you. Your actions affect thousands, I was told by my higher guidance a while back. I want you to know it's true for you as well. Because you are me, I am you, we are we, and we all are one. And for tonight, for now, that's all I got to say about that. I love each and every one of you. If you have any questions, comments, you want a reading, or you want to bring ideas for upcoming shows to me, let me know. Give me a shout out at anchor.fm/metaphysical, or send me an email at metaphysicalsoulspeak@gmail.com. But for now, I'm signing off with peace and joy and the high vibes of the holy fifth dimension. Until next time, guys, peace. Metaphysical Soul Speak is run on sponsors and listener support. This means listeners like you. If you are so inclined to support my efforts and my little podcast, please visit me at anchor.fm/metaphysical and pledge an amount of your choosing today. Thank you.